Hi, I'm here with my good friend Sandra Joseph, and Sandra has an amazing story. Sandra was Christine in Phantom of the Opera on Broadway for more than 10 years, longest running Christine in their history. Obviously, Sandra has an incredible voice, but to me, you have an amazing story too. And one of my favorite parts of your story is this idea of the perspective box. It's just a cool concept, and I think it's so helpful for people to understand and to think about for their own life and what they do. So would you mind sharing with us this idea of a perspective box and where it came from for you?
Sure. You know, one of the questions that I'm often asked when people find out that I played Christine for more than 1,000 performances, 10 years, is how do you keep it fresh night after night? And it was not always easy, for sure. There were times when I really struggled, especially getting towards the end of the run, night after night, trying to get out there and have that energy that makes the audience feel as though this is all happening for the very first time. In about my 7th, 8th, 9th years of doing the show, that became a real struggle. So I reached out to a friend of mine who's also an actor, and I shared with him that I was really struggling. And he said, let's meet for coffee next week. So the following week, I'm sitting across from him in this cute coffee shop in New York, and he hands me one of the most amazing gifts I've ever been given. It was a purple box, and on top of the box, he had stenciled the word perspective. Inside the box were clippings he had scoured the internet to find from people talking about what seeing Phantom had meant to them, how the show had impacted them. And I just sat there crying into my cappuccino as I read these stories from individual people talking about how, you know, there was a dad who saved up for a year to take his family on a trip to New York to see the show, and how he watched his daughter's face light up when she watched the show unfold before her eyes. And there was a woman who took her mom to see the show before she passed away, and she was saying how she would always cherish that memory. So I think for all of us, when it gets to be difficult, you know, we always want to show up and give what we have to give, but sometimes over the long term that can become a challenge. And I think for all of us, it helps to remember that what we do really does impact other people. What we do makes a difference. And keeping that perspective, really keeping your mind on why you do what you do, can be incredibly motivating. It certainly was for me.
That's awesome.